Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the variety of special moves, Chiaotzu, the free-to-play physical Chiaotzu that came out with the revamp of the Greatest Warrior missions, and I think ultimately a pretty interesting and useful unit. I think like a lot of the Saiyan Saga team that they brought out, I genuinely think they are all pretty good. So yeah, let's take a look. Basically, to cut a long story short, Chiaotzu, physical type lead of 70%, key +3, greatly raises attacking defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning the enemy. Attacking defense of 140%, an additional attack and defense of 140% when performing a super attack. Great chance of evasion as the third attacker, randomly changes key spheres to physical key spheres, and randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, and all allies attacking defense of 40% when there's another bond of friendship category ally attacking in the same turn. So basically he's designed to be a bond of friendship slash, like support unit. Bond of friendship, obviously category that just got quite a few updates. You've got Goku, you've got Krillin, you've got that Tech TN, you've got the Daima unit, you've got Gohan, you've got Gohan Kid and Icarus. So I think Bond of Friendship is definitely obviously getting some buffs. Chiaotzu is a floating support that kind of suits that category. Obviously he pairs up really nicely with those Saiyan Saga free-to-play units with his link set, but he is obviously the best pair up with Tien. He's got Telekinesis, Crane School, Z Fighters, Solid Support, Courage, Telepathy, Sharing the Limit, and Z Fighter, Solid Support, Crane School, Sharing the Limit, and Courage he shares with that Tech TN. So he definitely is meant to kind of thrive with that unit. He just pairs really well with that Tech unit, pairs well with any TN really, and then from there kind of goes like Krillins, Yamchas, TNs, that's really about it. Chiaotzu, honestly, out of all of the like free-to-play units, I think is probably the one I'd say is, I don't want to say underwhelming, but it's probably the one that's the most difficult to use. It's got a lot of really cool stuff about him, but he does need a Bond of Friendship unit on the rotation, which outside of like a couple units isn't amazingly easy to do. He does have a high chance of stunning. It's very useful for SPR, ESPR situation. Generally, I would just float him as a support. Like if you're running the how can I say, like if you're running the Bond of Friendship category, you can run him, I think overall really quite solid. So I do think he's good in that situation. His damage and his defense and everything is not bad. Looking at his offense, looking like 5 mil. Defensively, he's not rocking up, like he's not pulling up any trees, but he does get over that 300-400k mark with his super, which is very, very good. So at that point, he's really solid. He really is at his best with that evasion, providing that support, being able to stun, and just potentially be a solid floater. There's not anything I'd say about him that makes you want to run him specifically, as like a second slot unit or anything. He can provide his support, obviously, which I think is great. But yeah, I would say, unless you're specifically looking to run him like permanently, I would probably just put him in that third slot. In terms of build, very difficult to say, because with free-to-play units, how much do you really want to invest in them? But if you do complete the Greatest Warrior missions, you do rainbow him. For me, just suiting him, I would look mainly at evasion. Really suits that kind of third slot. He's got 70% already, but then if you give him basically another 30%, like from the hidden potential system, he's then rocking like an 80% dodge, which is really quite good, and makes him very useful as like a floating support. You can do a bit of crit if you want to try and get damage, or a bit of additional if you want to try and have more chance to stun, or just to boost his overall raw defensive numbers because you'll get an additional super. But I would not say that there's anything remotely major that you need to do with his build. Like I wouldn't say he's got like an absolute optimal build, because he's a free-to-play floating sport, so there's not too much that you need to do. In terms of links, Sharing the Limit, Major Key Link, Crane School, Major Link, Courage, Major Key Link. He's really just designed for that Sand Saga team, and then obviously he does work on a Bond of Friendship, but he'll be a floating sport, so I wouldn't worry about him too much. He makes orbs, he has key from his passive when he's providing support. I really wouldn't worry too much about his links. He doesn't have any major defensive links or anything that he absolutely has to have. So overall, I would just say use him as you see fit. He's a cool unit, and I think he's really helpful to some teams. And he's cool. It's cool to have a 40% orb changing, your rainbow support. He could be good for nuking challenges as well, providing some orb changing, some support if you can build it right. So yeah, I think that's really his easy utility guy. So his build and his this and his links don't matter so much because you're not catering to him, you're catering more to the team. But I would say Sharing the Limit, or just in general one of the key links, probably for the best. But that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Of course, if you need any more help, or you want to give your opinion on Chiaotzu, or just in general, if you just want to give an opinion, go for it. But yeah, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.